What up? What up? What up? Wait for a few to join up. I know. The algorithm ain't letting y'all know that I'm on here yet because I ain't scheduled it. So I'll give y'all some time. Let me fix my hoodie. Alpha Mason always first. What's good, brother? What's goody? Let me fix my necklaces and shit. Make sure I look good. I look like a rapper. You know what I mean? Because I want to rap one day. That's when my kids asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I told them I'm gonna be a rapper. What's up, D Lunatic? Charlene, what's good? What's good? Hey, if y'all been wondering where I've been this week, I have someone ill in my family. Had to deal with that for most of the week, so I didn't have the extra time that I usually use for this. I've been dealing with that. So today, I just said, "Fuck it, I got to sneak away and do my thing." I need to prepare the film for the Lions game, which I'm doing now. I already got the film ripped, but I got to cut it up, so I'm gonna be sitting here all day. But instead of having y'all wait for content, I said I'm gonna go live first. Then I start, chopping up the film after the fact because I didn't really get a chance to say my piece in a sober fashion. Because last time y'all see me, I was tipsy as hell after that Eagles game, man, mad too, rumbling, not really rumbling, but I was figuratively rumbling all through the casino where we watched the game, man. It was fun times though. Get your pom poms out. Dak is back, yes sir. Oh yeah, I like this jacket, man. What's good, Marquise Hall? How you, man? Make sure y'all hit the like button. It's only 16 of y'all in here. Make sure y'all hit that. MC AKOYE, yes sir. The real Rimdell Bourbon. What's good, man? I don't think I remember you, but what's good, man? You probably been in here before though. Chris Davis, he said you was pissed also. I was pissed, but I was okay with it. But I was pissed because I felt like we could have still won that game even after the turnover. So, um, yeah, but I think this was a good time to take that type of L into that type of team because when you do, it's definitely a wake up call. If you recall, the Giants, don't ask me what year, but I remember they played the Patriots who were undefeated that year. The year that they beat the undefeated Patriots, the Giants were going into the playoffs and they lost a very close game to the Patriots and that gave them that type of wake up call. And I'm not calling the Eagles the Patriots by any means, but they are a good team. They're a good team. And if everyone's in the league is calling them the best in the league because they're the only undefeated team, then that shows you how well we can take a punch. If that's the best team in the league can do against us, that's actually pretty damn good. Um, and are the Eagles even the best team at this point in the NFC with the news of the Christian McCaffrey trade, which is ridiculous, man? Oh yeah, they still celebrating. They ain't gonna stop Marquise. Don't even try to stop them because I wouldn't be done celebrating right now if we beat them. So you got to take your wins and losses like a man, or like a woman if you're a woman. But even if you're a woman, you got to take it like a man because you can't be too emotional. So you gotta let that go. And that's to Charlene, Sadika, you know what I mean, Loving Aries, all y'all, Brandy, if you on here when you see it, y'all know who y'all are, the women who follow. But yeah, it's not that bad, man. What's up, Eddie? Chris Davis, what's good? All right, so let's dig in, man. Watching the film of, I watched extensive film of Cooper Rush, and watching what he was able to do. Like I said, hats go off to him. I feel like he is a starting caliber backup in this league. I don't like to say backup because when you say backup, it's like he's trash. I think he can start in this league, and he can help out a lot of teams, a la his way of play. If you look at Carolina, even if you look at what Jimmy Garoppolo is doing in San Fran, it's like it's not a lot of quarterbacks that are playing exceptional. So for him to come in over that same stretch and play the way he did, hats go off to him. Like I said, this season wouldn't even be a season for me anyway. It wouldn't even be as fun. I would be sitting here telling why we lost, and let me show you why we lost here, who fucked up there. That's what those type of film sessions. Although they get a lot more views because people like negativity, it's not as fun to do it. You know what I mean? Because there's no good feeling in it. There's nothing to look forward to. So because of him, we have that. So I'll leave it at that. In regards to Dak being back, though, the playmaking ability with his legs that he allows us to bring into the game, and then also I think they open up the playbook a little bit more for him, so it gives us different looks, different wrinkles and ripples in the offense. Hopefully, those things allow us to be a little less predictable, although we were pretty predictable in the Tampa Bay game. Hopefully, the addition of Dak coming back allows us to get a little less predictable with this offense now that he even got to see that this running game is official. I know he knew that already, but to watch the effects of it on the sideline and see, hey, we win the game when the quarterback allows these running backs and this defense to do what it needs to do and then make your plays when you need to. I look at Dak as one of those guys anyway, as a guy who, when the pressure's on, in clutch situations, he pushes and he looks to put everything on his back. And you can say what you want. I know I say a lot about him pressing and those big games he presses. But failure is only failure when you quit and when you stop. So although he's failed in some of those big games where he's tried to get to that point where he is, as clutch as we like him to be, you can't get clutch if you LeBron it, so to speak, every time you get the opportunity. So you can't just hand it off, or you can't look to, you know, lean on someone else when those situations come. Even if you're shooting bricks, sometimes you got to take that on the chin, because that's the only way you become clutch, is by being in clutch situations and trying to step up through the butterflies and the nervousness or the anxiety that you might feel. So, with that said, I hope the chip on the shoulder and the time on the sideline allows Dak to see that this team is humming. All you gotta do, hand the ball off, and then be a good putter when it's time. And I think he can do that. And I said this. I've been saying this. So honestly, I'm getting what I want, me personally, with this team, due to the fact that Dak got hurt and we got to see that. Because last year, if you go back to the San Fran loss, I said the only time Dak was effective was when he was under center and we had a threat to run the ball with a running back, not as a pass happy team. Although on the stat sheet, you can still pass the shit out of the ball, but it could be out of play actions, a lot of run looks that allow you to keep a defense honest. I said that is where you'll get your best Dak. I've been saying that. And I feel like we'll get our best Dak now if we remain balanced with Dak Prescott. I don't care what his stats will be at the end of the season. I think he'll go pretty far uh, playing this style of football that we've been playing. That's real shit. Now, for the people who think that I'm like crazy for saying that or tripping, I mean, only time will tell. He still got to go do it. He still got to go do it. But I think that this style of football suits Dak best. The style of football we were playing when he went on that run in his rookie year was, let's run the ball to help out this young quarterback who needs that help. And Dak rose to the occasion, because even when he was asked to pass, you remember the Pittsburgh game when Dez went off, right? Zeke went off to that game. You remember that? He actually won the playoff. I mean, the overtime for us with a long run, because we were pounding away at teams and then allowing Dak to sit back there behind a good line that we have now too. But the line is not good because you drop back and pass 30 times. The Eagles line is not good because they drop back to pass 30 to 40 times. The Eagles line is good because they run the ball so much that by the time it's time for you to fire off the ball, you are hurt, dinged up, tired, or just don't even know if they're running it or throwing it anyway. So that buys your quarterback time to do what he needs to do. And I think if we get back to 2016 Dak, this team will go very far. So I'm happy that we got to see that glimpse. I'm happy that Dak hurt his thumb, because he got to, one, see how slow the game down a little bit cerebrally from the sideline, see what coaches are looking at, and get a better understanding for what to do in certain situations, because he's in Cooper Rush's ear trying to tell him what to do in those situations. So all that resonates. I feel like sometimes when you're teaching someone something, me personally, I like talking to y'all, because even when I'm teaching y'all something, and I'm not like being an elitist or nothing, but when I'm talking and saying something to you, I'm talking to myself too. Sometimes I'm learning because I'm actually giving information. So I think from that perspective, Dak will take, that next step that we want him to take, which is making him understand what it takes to win. That's what clutch is. Clutch is not, I got to make the perfect throw at all times. It's knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, knowing when to walk away, knowing when to run. Like, he got to know when it's just, hey, man, this is a play where I'm going to let, even if we get 1 yard, I don't care. I'm going to let Zeke or Pollard eat at y'all. I'm gonna let Turpin run this jet sweep just to keep you honest, because I'm trying to set you up for something later in the fourth quarter. We gonna run that. You know what I mean? So hit that like button. It's only 20 likes in here. Come on, man. Get them likes up. Sadiqa, what's good? Hit them. Tell them to get these likes up, man. They playing with me. They playing with me. Tyler Powell, he said 26-16 with the defense is a better Dak. 100%. 100%. You remember Dak did what he had to do in 2016. It was the defense that let us down in the Green Bay game. Byron Jones let us down in the Green Bay game. I'm going to get to that too, because they disrespecting our youngin' man Trevon. I was looking at preparing for this video. I was looking at the NFL and looking at stats in regards to top coverage corners and coverage game grades, according, I guess, to PFF. You know, Sauce Gardner, Chidobia Awuzie, Travaris Ward. These two dudes that used to be Cowboys at that. Fabian Moreau, Rock Yassin from Vegas, Tyson Campbell, and Patrick Surtain, along with Bradbury and Darius Slay and a few other guys, are all better than Trevon Diggs, which is crazy as shit to me. I was like, that's crazy. Tariq Woolen, all these guys have better coverage grades than Trevon Diggs. I don't know how you're grading, if that's what you're grading, but I'll go ahead and get that to y'all, man. I'll let them have that. That was a little crazy to me. But traded Ward for some linemen that got hurt like 2 weeks later. I was pissed. Yeah, Andrew, that's what happened. Travaris Ward, I don't know how we let him get out of here, because watching him, he is vicious a man. He is vicious a man, but I don't get it. You said Diggs' agent isn't paying off. Facts. Facts. But anyway, we'll get back to that in a second, because I didn't want to jump into that part of the conversation yet. What we'll talk about is Dak, because I want to prepare not only what we're going to see on Sunday with the Lions, but also what Dak's prognosis is at this point. I think that his thumb, although he's able to throw, he still hasn't been throwing, even though he just got his grip back. He hasn't been throwing just to Hill. He hasn't been throwing for weeks. So I still think we'll come in with a run heavy style and then ask Dak to do what we were asking Cooper Rush to do, which is, make the plays that we need to make in the end of the drives or the end of the game, so on. And I think Dak is going to do that for the next 2 weeks going into the bye. And I think after the bye, we may see a more aggressive Dak. I don't think he's going to come out chopping them up, dicing them up. And I'm going to say the pressure shouldn't be on him, or the expectation shouldn't be on him to do that. If he is able to do that, I will be impressed. But the pressure, or the way we're looking at it, we shouldn't be looking at him to do that coming right out, because he hasn't been throwing the ball. So I wouldn't be mad if if he was like throwing 25 times a game, 20, 25 times a game. And between now and Chicago, then going into the bye, we might turn up a little bit. Yeah, that was JG. Was Ward traded before Dan Quinn arrived? Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, he was I think he was under the Chris Richard regime. Bro, we need to trade for DJ Moore or Brian Burns. Need part of the fire sale. Yeah, there's a fire sale going on in Carolina. Let's dig into that a little bit. Christian McCaffrey makes the 49ers almost, I want to say, impossible to guard, but they can fuck you up with a lot of the short shit that they're going to be able to do with Deebo Samuels and Christian McCaffrey. That's something else to look at. They're going to be a fun team to watch on the ground, and a tough team to beat with the way they're going to run the ball against opponents. So the 49ers, I think they've seen the landscape. They looked at what's out there, and they said, what could we add to this offense? Because they run the ball good with any running back. The Shanahan's are real, just like his dad. Shanahan's can run with any running back. They had their scheme, their run scheme is what creates. You got schemes that create good wide receivers like Pittsburgh, Green Bay back in the day with McCarthy. McCarthy was a wide receiver friendly coach, where they knew how to get you open. Sean Payton, they can get you open, and they're going to throw the ball to you enough times for you to be effective. McVay, those are pass friendly schemes where you don't have to be the greatest wide receiver, but you just have to be. Even the Patriots with the way they used um, Edelman, you know what I mean? You don't have to be the greatest. You just have to understand the scheme well enough to know that you're going to get the ball a lot, and you're going to just get to your spots, right? Well, the Shanahans are like that too, but with running backs. They can make any running back good, man, and they're gonna kill with Christian McCaffrey because he's actually good. Remember Clinton Portis and TD. Those guys were good, but they had to be good running backs. I mean, to make your one guy miss, and then get the fuck up the field. That's put your foot in the ground. One cut backs. Put your foot in the ground and go. And Christian McCaffrey can do that and more. So him and Debo are gonna have a lot of fun over there with the 49ers. I think that was a blockbuster trade. Um, I feel like DJ Moore is a guy that can help us in a lot of ways, similar to what you would want to do with Turpin or what you would do with a healthy Gallup. Even CD, like they're similar because we have a lot of guys that can like catch the shallow drag type of stuff and then put their foot in the ground and make guys miss. And even Noah Brown is a tough guy with the ball in his hands. He's not fast, but when he gets the ball in his hand, he looks like a fullback, and you don't want to tackle him. So DJ Moore would just be another guy added to that equation. But do I think we need him with James Washington getting healthy and possibly coming back this season? I don't think so. So I doubt that the Cowboys go after that because to go after that, it would be a situation where we didn't have confidence in the guys we have here. And I think we have more confidence after Cooper Rush's regime in our wide receiver group than we had going into the season because nobody, nobody thought Noah Brown was going to be a guy to pay attention to, or a guy, any kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? So for him to come in and do that, you got confidence there. Turpin to come in and do what he did, special teams wise, and still hasn't really seen the field much in live action. You got confidence there, and we already had confidence in CD Lamb. We want him to do better, but we have confidence in him. We already had confidence in Gallup when he's healthy. Although I think Gallup's return messed up the chemistry in this wide receiver core because he hasn't been here and they were trying to incorporate him into Noah Brown's spot. And as you can see, it just seems like Rush is way more comfortable throwing to that X receiver when it was Noah Brown than when we put Gallup in that position. So I think we should have brought Gallup back when Dak came back, to be honest, and let Noah Brown and Cooper Rush continue to do what they were doing because Cooper Rush hadn't looked right in the last two games that Gallup was the feature. He just hasn't. Um, this was a real test for our defense to stop the run. This O line looks loaded, and they stick to the run. Are you talking about the Lions? Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. But yeah, I don't think we go after DJ Moore. I don't think we go after any other receivers because this receiving core is good. James Washington, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb are your top three when they're healthy, and then you have guys like Noah Brown and Turpin behind them. And then you got Semi Fioco, who looked pretty good with Cooper Rush once again. I think those two have the most chemistry. Noah Brown and Semi Fioco had the most chemistry with Cooper Rush. Dak has great chemistry with Gallup, as we all know. Gallup is his guy that he goes to when everything is on the line, man. So, and then you got Lamb underneath. Hit the like button if y'all in here. Thanks, Charlene, for saying that. Matter of fact, Charlene, I forgot. Let me make sure you're a moderator. I don't know why you do that sooner. Um, Add moderator. There you go. You definitely earned that. You always bigging me up and looking out. So I appreciate that. Ryan 2009 1. Lions are a good running team. That worries me. Not to be fooled by a 1-4 record. Don't be fooled by that. No, you can't be fooled by the Lions 1-4 record. But I wish I was going to do a Zoom where I just put this on the screen and broke it down live, but I didn't tee it up well enough, and I didn't want the downtime or the lulls in the conversation to come in where I'm sitting here trying to cut stuff up and talk at the same time. So I'm just going to do it the way I've been doing it. And then maybe we'll do something live next week, but where I can tee it up better because I do want to do the live breakdowns, but I don't want to do it where uh, I'm not able to talk as much because I'm still here trying to work. But I'm going to do a live breakdown. I'm going to show y'all. But with the Lions, I've already started their film, and I looked at the Patriots game. Like, how were the Patriots able to stop the Lions so handedly? And the way they did that was crowding the line of scrimmage. Number one. They would crowd the line of scrimmage and make the Lions, run into stronger fronts, forcing Goff well, he would kill certain plays, or he would look at it as if he had openings on the outside which he really didn't, but they would disguise things pre-snap where it looks like they're running in a 10-man front sometimes. You know what I mean? The Patriots do a good job at tricking guys or tricking quarterbacks into confusing themselves or shooting themselves in the foot. And they did a pretty good job at that defensively. Also, you had some forced fumbles, you had sacks on Goff, things like that. So you want to force the Lions to be a passing team. And I'm not as afraid of them as people might think we should be, because when I watch the Eagles game, who also run pretty good and they can run with their quarterback, I think we did okay versus the run when we weren't trying to confuse ourselves, meaning we moved Micah Parsons around and D Law around so much that it allowed them to just make choices like, okay, if if Parsons is on this side and D Law isn't here, we obviously run to the opposite side. But the way they were able to do that in the Eagles game was to one get Parsons overworked, and I'm gonna go into that too. The things they did to Parsons, I was respecting the way they played Parsons. I don't think the Lions are set up well enough because they don't have a running quarterback. I don't think they're set up well enough to do those same things. Although they are a Parcells style offense that will not stop running because they're down 14-0. They're not going to stop running, period, until the fourth quarter. They always say you still got time to run. So that's what Parcells used to say, and that's what the Lions are going to do. So be prepared for that. This will be a hard hat game, but when it comes down to hitting and physicality, the things that we couldn't do in the past, we definitely do now. Like you can't even name, or you if you took Dono Wilson out of the equation, because I think he automatically is the most physical guy. But if you took him out of the equation, you couldn't name who the most physical player on this defense is, because you got guys, and I'll start from the bottom up. You got guys like Osa and Chauncey who are both very physical and mean. You got Nev, mean. You got Tristan Hill, vicious and dirty mean, like Lau Alzado mean. Then you got D Law, physical, mean. You got Parsons, same thing, physical, mean. You got Diggs playing angry, hitting shit. You got Anthony Brown, who's always been a pretty solid tackler, a good hitter. Then you got Dono Wilson. And the last game in the Eagles game, when you look at Hooker, Hooker was flying around slapping shit, man. He was hitting shit. He was hitting everything too. So I think Hooker might have led the team in tackles last game. I didn't look at the stats, but watching the film, he was everywhere. So we got a lot of guys that'll hit you. And then you got J Rock. So this entire defense is physical. Anthony Barr, too. He's physical, mean. The only one we got is my collarbone, which is LVE, who is mean. Believe it or not, LVE is mean as fuck. But he can't play that way because of that collarbone. I don't think LVE is it. We will talk about that too. I'll talk about that in the film session. I'm going to break that down for the season. That's what we're looking at. So I think we are physical enough. With that said, to hit the Lions in the mouth, and then we line up against better versions. You could argue Swift is better than Pollard. I don't know. They're on the same level though. But I definitely think Williams and Zeke. I think Zeke is better than Williams because he's shiftier and can do more in space. So we practice against better versions of the Lions running attack, which is Reynolds is probably the only one we don't have a version of. He's like a bullet, straight line downhill runner. But when you look at Swift and what he does and what Williams does, and that's their 1-2 punch, we practice against Zeke and Pollard. So we can simulate them in practice, I think, very well. And they've seen those types of style runners every day since training camp. So I think we can deal with them. I think it's a matter of how physical are we and how banged up are we. I don't think we're that dinged up. I think we're going to come in and lay the wood paws on the Lions. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about this game. And also, I got to take the pressure off of Dak in this situation because, hold on. Okay, have to look at these emails because I'm still working technically too, working from home. But had to take the pressure off of Dak in this situation Because if he comes back and he lays the egg, I don't want everybody snapping. I won't snap on him either. And I know y'all think that I would, but I won't. Because if there's a time for us to get some growing pains in, it would be this game or the next game. I wouldn't have a problem with Chicago or the Lions coming and playing us tough because Dak needs to get certain things. He needs to just knock the rust off. So if he has to knock the rust off this game, I'm not holding nothing against him this game. Let him do what he got to do. He didn't have a preseason, and then he's been hurt. So Dak hasn't played more than he played 3 quarters in the last 9 months. You know what I'm saying? 10 months, played 3 quarters. So expect a little bit of ring rust. You know what I mean? And if so, I'm not mad at that. Just protect the football on your way and allow your defense to do what they need to do. I think we can. I think we definitely line up against their offense pretty well. Now defensively, they come out in like 9-man fronts. They have to sell out to stop the run. I think this is a game where our offense will help our defense beat the Lions because the Lions, their pass coverage, I don't look at stats because I don't care. I look at what do you do, what's effective, where are the opportunities? Because sometimes you might have a stat where I said this on Lord Brunson's channel because he was trying to tell me about all the Eagles stats about Gardner's stats. I'm like, Gardner gets beat for a touchdown in almost every game, right? But he will get an interception or two when he's playing single high. But they'll ask him to go back into the slot, and Gardner gets scored on. He got scored on by Ferguson too. So it happens every game. So I wasn't wrong by targeting Gardner in the film. It's just that those 2 pop-up interceptions, sometimes the sun shines on the dog's ass, every once in a while. But that's the reason I don't look at stats. And the same thing goes for the Lions. I don't need to look at the stats. What I look at is their scheme. And schematically, they must understand or know that they can't stop the run with their front 4 or front 7 because they load the box, especially against the Patriots. They kept loading the box. But what we have to do is not kill when they load the box because the Patriots are running right into 10-man fronts and running right through them. And I think we can do the same thing. Don't shy away from the run just because they're loading the box not to stop the run. They can't stop the run that well when they load the box, in my opinion, because I've seen the Patriots run through them. Someone might say, "Oh, well, they're top 5 in stopping the run," but is it because they hat on hat can stop it? No, it's because they discourage you or they try to discourage teams from running by loading the box because they're better against the pass than they are against the run. They'll load the box to stop you from running pre-snap and hope that you throw into some of their disguised fronts. And they'll probably try the same thing with Dak. If they do, he just has to stick with what was called and run the ball anyway. Because I think those are where you get those big play opportunities. I don't remember the kid's name, number 38 though for the Patriots. I think he had like a 57-yarder against them. And that was running in a 10-man front. Like they will really put everybody in the box. Not 8, 9 to 10-man front sometimes, which is crazy. Depending on how you align, of course, that's how they do it. So yeah, I wouldn't shy away from it. This is a game where you run the ball no matter what. Stevenson, exactly. Yeah, this is a game where you just run the ball anyway. What's up, Ms. Money? Appreciate that, man. What's good, man? Sorry about not giving you guys a shout out. My glasses in the car. But I could actually see. I ain't even been squinting. My eyes must be getting better. I ain't even get LASIK or nothing, man. My eyes just getting better. I can see everything right now. I think maybe squinting is a reflex. Or maybe my eyes got better. I don't know. D Lunatic, Okoye, where you stand on J. Lou versus Bland? Sheesh, that's a tough one. J. Lou, so you got eye test and then you got cerebral. The eye test, Bland is better than J. Lou. Period. Like he is a force flash player. He will be better than J. Lou during his regime at some point. And I think even right now. The reason J. Lou had been in there is due to what players are saying anyway. And Dan Quinn, J. Lou's communication is what they were missing. So that's the cerebral aspect that a veteran provides versus Bland, which is the talent aspect. So I think talent wise, Bland is better than J. Lou. Bigger, just as fast, more physical, or just as physical. I think J. Lou's physical, but he's bigger. And just as good as a ball hawk, if not better. The only difference is I think Bland is better in press coverage and maybe slightly better in the slot. I've been saying this since J. Lou started his career. J. Lou is an outside corner that's being forced to play nickel all the time, in my opinion. I think J-Lu plays his best ball if you put him out on the perimeter. And no one will do that because we have guys who only can play the perimeter, i.e., I think Trevon Diggs should only be on the outside. So you got guys who only can play the outside, and you have AB who could play both, but I think plays better where he is right now against shiftier guys on the outside. So if you're going to bring in a guy that can only play nickel or that's best at nickel, the best nickel corner on this team is Deron Blank. J-Lu may be just as good as AB on the outside, but you have AB out there, which is a log jam. So why would you break it if it ain't broke? I mean, why would you fix it if it ain't broke? So that's how I feel about J-Lu. I like J-Lu a lot, but I just think Bland is better. But I don't think he plays or needs to play this year because his defense is still doing what it's doing with J-Lu there, LV there, so on. I think we had some miscommunications due to the fact that the Eagles did some things to us last week that were very, very. I respect the Eagles more than I ever respected them. I think the way they coached against Micah Parsons, I think teams are going to follow up. You remember the game where the Rams ran against us? They kept doing misdirections and a lot of movement before snap to confuse Jalen and LV, and then Jalen and LV started to decline. Teams are going to try that same mentality against Micah Parsons because the only thing that can stop Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. That's it. So instead of trying to block him, because you can't block him, so instead of coming up with a way to block him or sliding three guys to him and sacrificing or jeopardize the integrity of the entire offensive line on the other side of the ball, they just said, fuck it. We're not going to block him at all. And he's going to start thinking, stopping his feet and thinking and trying to figure out what's going on, reading and reacting rather than just acting. And that was genius, in my opinion, what they did with Micah against Micah Parsons. I thought that was pretty smart. All Micah Parsons, I have the film. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all on my phone first, but I'll put it out there because I have the film as to what to do against that. I said it, and then it's funny. My son sent it to me. Like, he don't even watch football, but my son sent it to me on Instagram, and I was like, exactly what you're supposed to do against it. Let me know if you guys can see this. See Reggie White here on the edge? That's what you do against those receivers that are coming across like that. See that? I'm gonna show you it again. Reggie White's on this side of the screen. That receiver comes through. Although he stops his feet, he just tossed his ass in the backfield and said, "Fuck it, you're not gonna throw it to him." You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. When they come across the line the way they were doing against Micah Parsons, it allows you to let a linebacker tee off on a wide receiver as much as you want. If you're going to keep that wide receiver jet sweeping like that, hit his ass, and that gives because what they were doing, they played a great game plan against our two playmakers, which is Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs. So to get open against Trevon, because we had good matchups with Trevon versus AJ. AJ didn't really do anything on the outside. He did everything behind the line of scrimmage, and the way they did that was they would run a slant that was a rub route, so to stop Trevon from being able to get across the field, they would block him really, and then while they're blocking him, have Micah Parsons standing there in space, not knowing what to do. So if Micah Parsons were to hit that receiver, it allows Trevon time to recover and get over the top of that play, and also it messes up the timing of that offense. So hopefully they catch on to that and start doing that because that's all he would have needed to do to change the dynamic of that game. In my opinion, they didn't really do anything on the outside that made me say, well, we couldn't do that. They didn't throw the ball at AB very much. They didn't throw the ball at Trevon on the outside very much at all. They did everything crossing and rubs and a lot of natural screens, natural picks. But hats go off to them. That was very smart coaching for the Eagles. All right. Okay. Let's see. D Lunatic. RPO does that. Won't work second time. Yeah, it won't work second time. Always share your videos to Micah and Diggs. Now, if they watch them, I don't know. Oh yeah, maybe not. Some of the players do watch though. I got a good relationship with a few players, our former players now. But yeah, some of them watch, some of them call and tell me shit too. So, but I can't say what they say. But cool shit. So hopefully, they are watching. I do hope so because I feel like the YouTube network, all of us, we really are breaking into a market and the Cowboys and the NFL by and large are aware of us. So this is the future of content. What they'll try to do, which you see them trying to do now, is replace us with guys like Baldinger. Shout out to him, no disrespect to him, but they'll replace us with guys who actually played, and they want them to be these YouTube personalities. The reason it doesn't work as well is because they still have, commercialized brands, and they still can't say or be a certain way, and they don't have the time outside of that dynamic to do what we do. So I think this is here to stay, and this is the future of how people consume content related to sports and sports entertainment. So yeah, I like that. Anyway, back to it. Back to it. Let me get back in here, see what y'all talking about real quick, and then we can keep it moving. Okoye, what's your thought on D Clark possibly playing this year? I can't get past neck fusion surgery, so want to give him time. Yeah, this should be a red shirt season for him. Not because I don't think he can play. I don't want him to play because we don't need him to play. If there's somebody who you want to throw in there who's ready, it'd be Cox, okay? Or even Gifford if you want. I would take Gifford over LV at this point. But I know with LV's check, that would be they're respectful, and I give them that, of your career as a player. So because he's in a contract year and he's been here and he's a former first rounder, it would be career suicide or career homicide if they were to put him on the bench right now. That would mess up his chances, I think, of landing somewhere significant. But it ain't about him. He don't come before the team. But I think that's why you see LV in there. Plus the veteran mindset, like he does understand where to be. But when he gets there, LV is a little bit too pussyfooted for me, and I need him to be more downhill aggressive and decisive. And he just isn't that right now. And maybe that comes back around to the fact that, back to your point, we let him play his first season where we probably shouldn't have because he needed that neck fusion to fuse. And it hadn't done that properly, but we were so hyped to see what he could do. He got out there and did a great job, but he definitely dinged that neck up because he was hitting a little bit back then. He does not hit anymore. And I think it's because he's dinged up. And he's definitely hesitant. He thinks too much, too many false steps. So to avoid making that same mistake with Clark, I think you redshirt him, let that neck heal, throw Cox in there and let him do his thing. Because we keep forgetting about what Cox really is. I think people aren't paying attention and I'm glad because he hasn't been talked about. But Cox is, outside of Parsons, I think our best linebacker. I think he has the potential to be. He can cover, just like Parsons can cover. He can cover. He can cover the whole field, sideline to sideline. If you get him on a mismatch against a Goddard or a wide receiver like AJ, he can cover those motherfuckers. And that's not even. I'm not bragging. I mean, he might not be good against the small, shifty, zigzag guys, but you get him against a big body receiver or a tight end. Cox is a beast. And then those plays, I got a lot of plays I see LV, especially against Cincinnati. They were throwing slants right behind him, and he could see them. He just was hesitating to get there. So you see a lot of plays where LV just barely misses passes that are going over his hands, but he's barely missing them because he doesn't jump those early enough. He's trying to react after the ball's in the air. If he just got there a little bit sooner, trust his eyes and just flow to the football, instead of thinking that guys are trying to move you around, you got to realize there's a clock. So if a quarterback is moving you for too long, you go. Not because you think that that's the right thing to do. You just understand with this pass rush, he ain't got time to be making too many false reads. You know what I mean? He can't get through too many progressions against this pass rush. So if he's staring something down, put your foot in the ground and go. And LV doesn't do that enough because he would miss a couple. And he's missing a couple anyway. So he would miss a couple doing that. But I think he would jump a few routes. He would probably even have some picks and some pick sixes if he was doing that. Even some of the run plays. You saw the one play he broke up. It was the one play he was decisive against the Eagles. He ran in the backfield. He kind of broke that up. Very soft. He kind of corralled the guy to the ground, but he got there. You know what I mean? Fast. The rest of the game, he was hesitant in the hole. He would be in the hole. He's looking at you. You're looking at him. And then you cut. He'll cut. What are you doing? Force him to make a decision. Take this option away from him, and then let somebody else make a play if they have to. But shoot the gap. You see that happen with Dono all the time, Barr all the time. Barr might be missing guys, but Barr is coming to get you. You can make a miss though because he's older. He's not as quick as he used to be. But once you make him miss, you don't have a lot of time to reset where you're going because he's coming right after you. Donald Wilson, he's coming at you like a Scud missile. So that's what I would have no problems with LV if he was doing that. He's playing to not make a mistake and to not get hurt. And that to me is not something that's at our detriment yet. But I did see the Eagles targeting him. Again, I wish I could do this live breakdown where it was already teed up, but you're gonna have to use your imagination. And maybe I'll put the breakdown over this voiceover so you can see what I'm talking about. But they would line a wide receiver out in the slot, and then you would have the RPO look right in the shotgun. LVE was spread out wide. He would be like right over the tackle, or right over inside the tackle shoulder. Right, that's where he's lining up, where he's got a two-way read. He has to read that slant from the slot receiver, but also read that gap, both gaps, the C and the B gap from that running back because he has an option to go inside or outside. So what they were doing to LV with that was, forcing him to make decisions. They were ISOing him in 2 drives. They did that to LVE, forcing him to make decisions. Then Dan Quinn just switched the whole scheme up. But shout out to Dan Quinn for recognizing that they were doing that. But you could see that they had a good game plan. They wanted to attack LVE. They wanted to rub and confuse and frustrate Trevon, and they wanted to force Micah Parsons to think. And I think they executed on all 3 of those phases in that Philly game. So very good scheme. Like I said, they might be our opponents, but I respect what it was to be respected, which is good football play and a high IQ on their part. So does it say Cowboys on the back? No, on the back. I think it's just NFL. There's no Cowboys on the back. But I do like this jacket though. This is my joint. This my jogging jacket. My jogger. I guess I run in it. What's up? Okay, let's see. Cox is a cover linebacker. Cox is a cover football player. I don't even call him a linebacker. He's like a safety linebacker, nickelback. He could do all 3. I'm pretty sure we will see Clark play this year. I am too. I just don't want him to. I don't. I don't. I think this should be. Y'all ask me what I feel. I think it should be a red shirt season for him. Will he play? Probably. Yeah, but I don't want him to. Okay. What up, Okoye? Which player is out when Washington comes back? Unfortunately, it's probably going to be Noah Brown. Um, or you just mix Washington in, and you have those guys. Those guys might rotate. Noah Brown and Washington may rotate. But that's what it's going to be. Okay, I'm missing something. Do you guys think Dak is good? What are we talking about, Nick? I think Dak is good in this scheme. I think Dak is good under center. I think Dak will play well with the way we've played this season. Do I think Dak is a spread him out Tom Brady or spread him out Peyton Manning? No. Do I think he's Herbert? No. Mahomes? No. But do I think Dak can play very good complementary balanced football? Hell yeah. Do I think Dak is dangerous when he's under center and has a threat to run? Well, look at 2016 and you ask yourself that. When we got away from that and teams started forcing Dak to pass early on before he knew how to pass, it was a problem when they load the box with 10 men. Now you want guys low in the box the way they've been loading it against Cooper Rush because Dak can hit those throws, those one-on-ones on the outside if he's presented with that type of look. And the only way to get those looks is to come out of the shotgun, get under center, and let Dak pound away, let the running backs pound away at the defense. So yes, uh, he said, "I'm not sure about how are you. I don't know what you mean." Okay, Okoye, what you hearing about Jay Tolbert's issues? Tolbert's issues is the fact that his main issue is the fact that he wasn't in a college scheme. Like Tolbert was really a guy who was a playmaker. Shout out to Aisha Morris for this one. Like she definitely uncovered this or kind of pointed this out because Tolbert is one of her guys. But she pointed this out to me, which is that Tolbert is a guy who doesn't come from a collegiate scheme. NFL scheme in college. So he was just asked to make plays. He's moved around. They got him open. Now he has to understand different things like hashes and depth and timing and different things that he just didn't get a lot of reps at in college. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Tolbert. I think Tolbert is one of those guys. Look at the guys that come out of small schools who are good receivers, who wind up being good receivers. T.O. is one of them. Chattanooga. Who the fuck? Who came out of Chattanooga since that you can think of? I don't know. Maybe they're here in the league, but they hiding, especially receivers. And then you got Antonio Brown. Like, where the fuck he come from? You know what I'm saying? Where did Jerry Rice even come from? You know what I'm saying? So those smaller school guys who understand what it's like to be that number one guy, but may not have that NFL pedigree right away. Like T.O. didn't have it when he first got there. He had to sit around a little while behind Jerry Rice before he got it. I think the same is for Tolbert. Miles Austin was another guy like that who had to sit around a little while, had to get the hang of things before he got it. But once he got it, it clicks. And Tolbert, it will definitely click eventually. It just hasn't done it yet, but he will get to that point. I have no doubt about that. None. Okay. Yep. I agree with you, Roderick. Roderick says, oh, he's talking to Jay Lunatic. Simi looks better than Tolbert. We may have missed on this pick. Nah. Y'all give up on players pretty fast for fans, though. I will say that. Like, a player don't gotta do very much for y'all to just say, nah, he ain't shit. And then then other players, a la LVE, don't got to do very much for y'all to say, crown him. He's the king. He's God. You know what I mean? I don't get it. Donna Jet, what's good? I know you here to talk your shit. Do it. Yeah, you earned it. My apologies is if you've answered this, but anyone heard of the status of James Washington? I haven't talked on the status, but I said, when he does come back, he probably will take Noah Brown off the field. I don't know his status either. I don't think they're really throwing that out there like that. I haven't heard it. All right. Let's see what else we talking about. I think we covered, is Trevon a top 10 corner? Yes. It's fucking. Oh, you don't got no shit to talk down today? Damn, it's about time, man. You always try to put up somebody's ass, Paul. But good that you chilling today. AKOYE, Schultz needs to go on short-term IR. Let's roll with Ferg. Does he? You saying? Yeah. I like Ferg. Ferg with the crossover though. That was vicious. Ferg got the ball against Gardner and gave Gardner the When he did that, I was like, yo, protect the football, but go. And then the Hendershot is another crazy one. Took a hit across the middle, and he blew 48 up on one of these runs of Tony Pollard on the outside. I said, Hendershot and Ferg together, are they as good as Schultz yet? Who knows? I don't know yet. Because Schultz is pretty good at blocking, but both those guys have shown me they're willing to block, they're mean, and they are athletic as fuck when it comes to catching the football. So I think you can give Schultz some time off, and maybe we get the same effect that we got with Dak, which is we get a healthy Schultz when he comes back, and we get those two guys get better because they have to fill in for Schultz. And then when Schultz does come back at full strength, you got three good tight ends that all have different elements to their game that can give you some trouble if you're a defense. So when you come out in those jumbo packets, doesn't mean we ain't passing. So I think that would be good in my opinion. Yeah. Ezra Mendoza called that TD play Jake and Shake. Jake and Shake. We both agree that the offense needs to go through the running game. Ideally, how many touches do you want Zeke having? I think minimum 18. I would agree. 18 and 12. I think you should touch the ball. 25 times is the minimum collectively that we should, run the ball. And I say 25 is minimum because there are games that we are going to be trailing where obviously you're not going to get to run the ball 30 times. But 25 times I think is the minimum. I commend Kellen for not going away from the run in the second half. Although we were down, he still kept running the ball, which you saw what the effect was. Zeke, I don't think there's anything wrong with Zeke. As I said on film, he just wasn't making that first guy miss all the way up until the Eagles game. He was just letting that first guy would get there and hit him, and Zeke wasn't fighting that very much. But he would still fight through five guys to get the first down where there was no hole. So I said, well, Zeke can still break tackles. Why isn't he breaking that one man's tackle? Because that was the difference between Zeke getting big plays and not. And you saw in the Eagles game, he did it. He was making that first guy miss almost every time. The spin move came back. He would dip that shoulder to look like he's bringing power, and then he would force guys to go lower. And when they go lower, he just lifts that. He has a way of like getting small and skinny in the hole. Pause. But The way he would go do that is he would dip that shoulder like he did against Gardner. Gardner would go for the leg, and he just lifts that leg up. And when he lifts that leg up, it's just like a matador. You just flying right past him, and he's going. So I think Zeke, yeah, 15 to 12, 15 to 18 times is about what he should be running. And I think teams will be hard pressed to deal with us. And Dak will have better. This is my prediction. Dak will have better stats, QBR, accuracy, and touchdowns with less throws if we run the ball because he would get a lot more open looks because teams will get tired of dealing with uh with Zeke. Uh Kept running the ball because they were playing off, way off. They didn't mind the running game. I won't say that. They were trying to stop the run. They were definitely trying to stop the run. Right there was a play on the first drive and on the second and two play. They didn't run. Baffling. Yeah, I don't get it. Even when Zeke gets stopped at the line, he still goes for 2 yards. I don't get that either. I don't get why we don't deal with it. Even when we didn't challenge, I think we threw the ball after that non-challenge. Run the fucking football. Even if I don't care if they put 20 people up there, make them stop Zeke because they can't. I don't think they can. And I think that's why you paid them $90 million anyway. We need to find a way to incorporate Cavante Turpin. Yes, yes, we do. You realize Cooper is better. Uh-oh. Then you realize Cooper is better. Yeah, y'all gonna keep going with the Cooper Rush is better. He has a quicker release. I think the team played a more balanced scheme when he was in there. So we did play better with Cooper Rush. I won't lie. But I think we can do the same thing with Dak and be better because Dak can do things that we don't ask Cooper Rush to do. So I think we can be better. I think I missed the super chat way earlier too. Sorry about that. Let me go back to that because I see Ken Lots. But I think we could do way better with um, Dak than we can with Cooper Rush because of his legs element, and Dak can do things we don't ask Cooper Rush to do. So you'll pick those spots. D Lunatic, hope your family member feels better. Hermano, hermano. Uh-huh. D4K is back. Our Dak is back. Our defense is ticked off. We gonna remind the NFL, don't f with us. Jerry style, yeah. Effect Jerry style, but yeah, I know what you mean. Appreciate that too. And Ken Lott, will we stay balanced or be a more passing offense? Congratulations on your new business. Yeah, appreciate the congratulatory effects, man. It's hectic, but we still working, still building. But yeah, I think that we have to stay balanced because if we don't, then it's going to be a problem. Like people will start looking at Dak funny for sure. If we come back out pass heavy, you can't say that we can't run the ball. You can't say that we won't call running plays because they will and they have. So if we come back pass happy, I think is an indication that he's definitely killing running plays and audibling into pass plays. So he definitely has to remain balanced because I think that got a good glimpse as to what we can be, what this team can do this season, and the pressure is on him. So I don't think he's crazy. I think Dak is smart enough to understand your thumb is not there yet, bro. Hand the ball off, live to fight another day, and just save it for the playoffs because we will make the playoffs if we keep running the football and helping this defense do what it does. Uh, if they lose to the Lions, I know, Nick, you may be upset, but if we lose to the Lions, I'm not tore up about that. I said that a little earlier. I'm not tore up about that because I expect Dak to drop one. I'd rather him do it before the bye where you got time to correct it than after the bye. So if we split, one and one in these two games, I'm happy with that. I am because I think Dak is definitely going to be a little rusty. And if he's not, I'm going to be highly impressed by the fact that he's not. And you may see me shut the fuck up a little bit about Dak if he can do that. But only the game will tell us that. I'm not here to tell you what he can do because I've seen him do both. I've seen him lay some duds when he's nervous or when he's rusty, and I've seen him come out and light teams up. So, hopefully we get a mixture of the two and a guy that's cerebral enough to understand that he needs to hand the ball off. Last 8 games, Detroit has been 0-8. Just saying. Last 8 road games, 0-8. Yeah, they don't travel well. That's what you're saying. Our biggest problem is stopping the run. That's not a big problem for us, Donna. It's really not. When you look at how teams are running against us, they just catch us in the right personnel package. Just like you would say, the Eagles' biggest problem is stopping the run, but they stop it well enough, and I think we stop the run well enough. Uh, well enough, I think. And I think also teams only get to run the ball against us when our offense isn't putting them in the dirt. We haven't put a team in the dirt this season. That's why I know this defense is real. Even the Eagles should have stumped us the fuck out. They only had 26 points. They had 4 turnovers in the whole first half. They spent the entire first half with the football in our territory. And they only put up 26 points total in that game. They only scored 6 points in the second half, period. Okay, so for our defense to go out and do that against a team that was up the entire game, for our defense to go out and still be top 3 for the rest of the season with teams that were playing pretty close. We weren't blowing teams out. So when you blow teams out, then you will get to see what our pass rush really can do. Our pass rush is just showing up in third and long situations or when it counts, but we haven't had a team where we were up yet. We haven't had a team that we played where we're up. So you will really get to see what this defense is. You'll get the interceptions from Trevon when they're forced to throw the ball. You'll get those forced fumbles and sacks and things like that we're not getting right now because we've been playing pretty close to teams. You know, we've been within 7 points for most of these games, 3 points. Those are like tough outings. That's why I know our defense is one of, if not the best in the league, because we've been doing that against teams that are playing close. Meaning they can. When I say that, I mean they can still run the ball the entire game. So we're playing honest and still doing that to teams. When we don't have to play honest, when we know you're down 14, you're down 15, you're down 20, Dak is coming back on the field, we can score. We have momentum. Or we just got a punt return and we're up. Or we just got a punt block or interception, pick six, whatever. Whatever reason we're up. You'll look at the Rams game and you'll get an understanding as to what I mean. That was the closest thing to having that type of game that we've had this season, where we had momentum for most of the game. When we're up from the start of the bell to the end, you'll get to see what this defense really can do. Robert Bass, what's good, brother? He said, "Thanks for following your stuff better than most I watch." Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Our offense has been sluggish because we haven't been able to stretch the field. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Our defense is 19th in the league against the run. Doesn't matter. Like I just told you, our defense is 19th in the league against the run because our offense is never putting them in position where the run is irrelevant. Teams are running the ball against us because we have pass rushers on our front, but we've been stopping the run well enough for me to respect it. And the 19th against the run, you have games where teams have put up some stats, and you're playing against some rushing teams. As in, Cincinnati can run the ball. The Giants can run the football. You got the Eagles; they can run the football. You know what I'm saying? And the more the same with the Lions. So every team's not playing teams like that. So and then some teams have loaded offenses where they're not getting run against, and they might rank higher than us against the run, but they're not ranking higher because they're able to stop the run. They're ranking higher because teams are getting blown out and they're just not running the football. So those stats, I don't look at those stats. I really don't. I look at what's happening on the field and how you're able to deal with us. And I'm satisfied with the way we play the run, especially with the addition of J Rock coming back to be opposite side of Wilson. Because you got Wilson and J Rock behind D Law and Parsons on opposite sides of the field. So that means even when those guys shoot the B gap and play inside, spin inside, or come inside, you still got those two guys that can still keep contained on the outside. So, you know, if we just keep these guys fresh, I think our defense is fine against the run. I don't have a problem with that, man. Y'all reaching with that. Okay, Okoye, how do you feel about Peters? Is he going to be just a backup since he isn't playing well at left guard? And do you think Tyron plays again for the Cowboys? I think Tyron may play again. I think Tyler is making it so that Tyron is definitely going to be trade bait if he still plays well at left tackle the way he is. I even like what McGovern's been giving us at left guard too. McGovern played pretty good against Jordan Davis. I watched him one-on-one with Jordan Davis a couple times, and Jordan Davis plays into McGovern's hands because McGovern's pretty damn strong. So I think that It could be. I mean, I don't know what the Cowboys will do, but I do think that Tyron Smith still has football left in his body, and I think this season, him being hurt for this entire season, you allow him to just sit, and maybe you bring him back. Um, maybe you trade him. Who knows? I think that could happen, and I wouldn't be upset with either way. I can tell you that. Peters, though, hit or miss. I think he's banged up. He didn't get he got a lot of the Dak effect. He didn't get preseason reps. I think Peters is going to help us in the long run. I would like Peters better though. Um, Against the less physical guys on the outside, I think Peters still can do that better than he can play inside. He's smart enough to play inside, but because he doesn't have a preseason under his belt and he's dinged up a little bit, I'd rather him playing against right ends that are fast and he still has the footwork to deal with that with his tight end background. I would rather him doing that than playing inside. The problem is now that you started Tyler off outside and he's been playing well, they don't want to mess up the continuity and the consistency of that by pushing him inside. So again, you got a logjam. It's sort of like the Bland versus J. Luke conversation. It's like, good problem to have. If anything happens to either one, Tyler or McGovern, you got a guy. But I like Peters where he is. Let him get some practice reps in. Let him heal a little bit, and then in the playoffs, maybe we use him again. I wouldn't have a problem with that, personally speaking. I saw D-Law get put on his ass against the Eagles. I mean, Harold, every play I saw Michael Parsons get put on his ass a couple times before too. So who gives a shit? Are the Texans? What are the Texans know? I don't know. I forget y'all in the league sometimes. Are the Texans doing good this season? Are they? I don't even. Are they? Eastside? What are y'all doing? I don't think y'all doing shit, man. I think you should drink a big bowl and shut the fuck up. I think you should. Cause y'all ain't doing shit, brother. Y'all ain't doing shit, man. AKOYE, we run the ball predominantly left versus teams now. Are you saying why? Um, but we do. Yeah, I think so. Hold on. Hello? What's up, mate? I'm live right now. You need me? All right. Okay. Sports with comma. How do you feel about our linebackers play? I think we talked about that earlier, but I'll go over it again because you gave me a super chat, so I'm going to go ahead and be nice, good brother. Hit the like button before I do, everyone, and let's go with it. I feel that Cox, outside of Parsons, Cox is our best linebacker, and I think he needs to play. I don't think Clark should play. Uh, Astros, Texans, and Rockets all day. Good. Thank you, Harold. We didn't need that. But I appreciate the super chat. You're gonna pay me to talk shit for your team in my forum. I'm gonna say, keep it coming, brother. You should up it a little bit though, because I don't think they heard you. Anyway, linebacker wise, I don't think Clark should play this season very much. I think Cox should. I think Clark should heal because I think we're going to get a. It's about career. I think Clark has a better career if you allow him to heal than he would if you forced him to play because it's not necessary that he plays when you got Barr out there and you got even LVE can mix in. But I would rather see Cox out there as the guy. Davey, what's good, baby? Robert Bass says, Koye, I think Noah Brown is no slouch and is a tough dude. And Dak has improved so much footwork and throwing motion compared to 2018. Dak has improved as long as he remembers what he learned with that quarterback coach, which is keep that right foot planted and push through your hips. Get back to the Dak dance, and Dak will be fine. I don't know if the calf or the ankle is still, because sometimes you might be healed. I have a hamstring tear on my right hamstring, and I'm healed. If I come out cold, I don't stretch, or I go to explode and my leg gives because I might be on uneven grass or something like that. I feel it. It's like a tickle, but I feel it. And sometimes you have those injuries that linger like that. So I think the reason Dak isn't pushing through that right leg since last season is because of that. I don't think he's forgotten his fundamentals since 2018. I don't think he's regressed, although I did say he did because his throwing motion did. But I think there's a reason to why his throwing motion has changed back to letting that right leg sail. And I think it's because he still might be feeling it a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe he just not doing it right every consistently. But because some quarterbacks, let's face it, even Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, when you get a body on them, their clock changes and they start doing things different than fundamental. So that happens to all quarterbacks, and Dak just is more the same. Charlene Evans, love the content of Koye. I appreciate that very much. As I said, you always hold it down. So thank you for the super chat. And ask any questions you want, because you always welcome here. You know what I mean? Appreciate that though. Let's see what else we got. Lisa Lisa trolls for no reason. Yeah, I'll get Eastside Hero. That's my man though. You know why? Because you know why I fuck with Eastside Hero? I fuck with all the Eagles fans that come in here. Any other team that comes in here and talk shit, you might think that I'm like being too nice to them. And maybe I am. But the reasons I do that and I don't target my Lord Brunson, we have great conversations because I understand what it's like to be the one man who has to go against the many. You know what I mean? If y'all saw that box that we were in at Parks Casino, I mean, it was probably 30 of us. I was literally the only Cowboys fan, and I'm wearing some sharp ass shit, shitting on them with my jacket. You know what I mean? I'm talking about. I don't even know whose wife this is. It's somebody's wife or daughter, or I don't know. She's a grown woman, but she was talking so much shit. She was lit before I got there, and she was talking so much shit. I thought we was gonna box, and I stood there. I had to talk my shit, but I stood there, and by the end of the game, she was quiet in the church because she knew we had came back. She was scared, and I was talking shit the whole time. But everybody was like, "Yo, you held your own in here. You a Cowboy fan. You crazy as shit for coming in here. Y'all better than me. I wouldn't do it." So it's the same thing goes for Eastside Harold. When he jump in here talking his shit, knowing we gonna clown him, I respect that because I'm like, you're gonna get it, and you still asking to be seen. That take a lot of heart, man. You must have passed all your public speaking classes in high school, man, because that take a lot of heart to stand up in front of us or come here and talk shit because I'm gonna grind you up. So I respect him. That's why I like Eastside Harold. Let him talk his shit, man. That's why I like him. Skeptical fan, 24-17 against Detroit. Great stream. Appreciate it. I agree. I wouldn't say 24-17. I think we can blow Detroit out. I really do. I think we can blow Detroit out because once they realize they can't stop the run, which I don't think they can stop us from running the ball, and we get a few big if Stevens can bust 57 against you, Pollard and Zeke can do the same. So I feel like our our running backs are going to have a field day with Detroit, and then the play action will start clicking. And these two tight ends, Hendershot and Ferguson, are better than people are realizing. Both of them. Hendershot, we got three good tight ends, and I would say four because we all thought McKeon was going to come in and do something great too, and he's on our practice squad. And I like McKeon. He's a good blocker. Not the greatest receiver, but good blocker. Ferguson, Hendershot are proven to be very aggressive against the block. Like Hendershot will sell out to block you, and he'll go across the middle. He's a lot like I don't even want to say because it is what it is. But well, no, you can say it. Gronk and Hernandez. You remember those guys? They remind me of that. Where it's like you got a bigger guy who's a receiver in Ferguson. He's bigger, but still a lot shiftier than people give him credit for. And then you got Hendershot, which is more of a receiving tight end, but he'll block. He's not scary. And they remind me of those two guys. So if somebody can go back to McDaniels' offense film from those seasons with Hernandez and Gronk were killing it and start incorporating some of those schemes into our scheme for those two guys, they're dangerous as fuck, man. We got a lot of shit going on. I think we're definitely dangerous at every skill position. I don't have a problem with any of our receivers, Jalen Tolbert included, Simi Fehoko included. I think he'll be good as the time goes on. And I don't have a problem with any of our tight ends. And then our running backs, you already know our running back room is crazy. So offensive line is good too. So I think offensively with Dak at the helm, we should be putting up 30 again. And if we get back to that not number one offense, but top 10 offensive form, which I have no doubt that we can do, because Dak, no matter what you say about Dak, we were top 10 in offense. We were number one in offense last year. So if we can get back to top 10 with Dak in there, with this defense, you can't beat us. Can't beat us. And I think that's what the Christian McCaffrey trade was all about. No, we're not trading for DJ Moore, bro. We talked about that, though. We're not doing it. I don't think we should. Blowout. This is still the Lions. The Lions will eventually show up. No, I think blowout. I think the Lions are a good offense, but I think they play very well into our defense's hands. They're not crazy on the outside with their receivers. They scheme their receivers open and run the football all day. And I think we can deal with that because we have a good rotation up front to deal with that. As long as Bohanna is healthy and Nev is healthy, I'm not as scared of the run. When Bohanna or Nev aren't there, even if only one of them is there, they got to get off the field eventually. And you see the same effect with Jordan Davis with the Eagles. When Jordan Davis gets off the field, the Eagles ain't half as good against the run. And I think we're not half as good against the run when Bohanna or Neville are not there because the one guy has to rotate out. If both of them are there, blitz. That's what you got to do. But yeah, man. Um, he said, "How about getting Roquan Smith? I would love that. I think he does want to go too. I would love that, but I don't think we will. But if we got Roquan Smith to play next to Cox or Roquan Smith to play next to Barr, oh yeah, we nasty then because Roquan ain't gonna hesitate. He ain't gonna pussyfoot in the hole, so to speak. You know, he ain't gonna do that. Top 10 offense with top 3 defense is dangerous. You already know. Appreciate the super chat. But what's understood don't even got to be explained because you know that's dangerous. We all know that. We still need a route running receiver that can get quick, consistent separation that demands safety help. That will be Jalen Tolbert eventually. And when you look at James Washington, he's a good route runner too. So uh, definitely think we got that on the team already. And you don't need it. You know why? If you use Turpin the way you're supposed to, which is we used to do it with Tavon Austin. Run him deep. Run Turpin deep because when you see him on the field, you haven't seen it on film this season. We haven't done it. Run him deep. Arsemi Fehoko, put him in there and just say, go for it and throw the ball at him, even if you miss. Launch the ball out there further than the defense can cover and just let him go for it. Because once they see that once, every time they see him back in the lineup, you can run him that way or run guys off the ball by doing that because they got to respect it. And if you don't respect it, you got a touchdown. So they're going to have to respect it. I think we can open up the passing lanes by doing that every once in a while. Tony Romo would do that. You know, you see cover one. He's going to throw the ball deep. He don't give a fuck if you catch it or not. He's just going to throw it up there to Dez and see what happens. If he misses it, you know that he's willing to do it. So it changes the defensive scheme when you see that a guy is willing to go deep against you because you don't want to risk so much that you take the lid off. So when you see these guys low in the box, every once in a while, Dak, just launch the fucking football out there. I know you're trying to protect the football. Launch it out there. That's one thing Cooper Rush came in doing that I thought was effective, even when he was missing them. In that Tampa Bay game, he came in and just started throwing the ball deep to Simi, just throwing it out there. And he stopped doing that. But I think he should have still kept with that the rest of the games. He just stopped after the first two games. Akoye, which team's offense is better in your opinion, Eagles or Lions? Eagles. Because they're more consistent. They're not more consistent with the run, but their run attack and their offensive line is better. Do you think we missed Ridgeway in the rotation? Yes, I would think so. I don't know why we cut Ridgeway. Roquan would be too expensive. I think we are stacked at linebacker. Agreed. Sean said, pause. I don't know what I said. I probably said some pause worthy shit though. You know, I'm about to come up with some pause t-shirts too. My man said he gonna do that, but he gave me a pause. My man designed a pause shirt. I'm gonna show it to you, man. Now the Paul shirt is Paul's. I'm like, bro, that's not the way we going with this here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Watch this. This joint got fucking rainbows in it. I said, bro, the T-shirt is Paul's worthy. Like you got Paul's worthy content in this shirt. Let me show you this shirt, man. Look at this shirt. Can y'all see it? You can't even see the shit. The light is so crazy. It's purple. I mean, it's like rainbow. The pause is rainbow. And I'm like, bro, the Paul shirt ain't supposed to be Paul's, bro. Like that shirt is Paul's. Like, stop it. Give me a black and white shirt. There's point blank period, and then let's do it like that. But he designed the shirts for me, man. You gotta relax, though. In reality, you think we'll be 12-5? Possible. Yeah, I think. I don't see many teams. The Eagles prove that they can beat us. The Giants prove that they play us tough. Washington always plays us tough. Outside of that, we've played some tough teams already. Most of them already. I don't see a team that's on the schedule until we see the Eagles again. Let me look at the schedule. Let's look at the schedule and talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because I don't know, but I don't think so. Cowboys schedule. Let's look at the schedule. Okay. You got the Packers, who I think are good. You got the Vikings. They're good. So those two teams could we and then when we're on the road. So could those two teams give us some trouble? Yeah. Are the Colts good enough to give anybody trouble? Yeah. Is Jacksonville playing good? Sure. Are the Titans playing well? I mean, the Titans gonna give you trouble because they run the ball and commit to it. But are we a better team overall, balance wise, than all these teams? Yes, I definitely know so. I don't think so. I know so. We got the Giants on Thanksgiving. I think we beat the Giants at home on Thanksgiving. So maybe three teams, catches. So 12-5 is definitely doable. I think. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. You said Green Bay, Vikings, and Titans. Yeah, if you said those were the three teams, maybe we lose three teams to three teams in the second half of the season. I think that's possible. That's possible. But I'm just saying, get to the playoffs with the way this team is played and the way this defense is playing. Get to the playoffs healthy, and I think we can definitely do some damage. Alpha Mason said the Paul shirt is Paul's. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is you giving me, bro? Get this shirt out of here, bro. I would never wear that. Anyway, we need to put Deron Bland back in the rotation. I think he plays harder than J. Lou. I wouldn't say harder, but yeah, yeah. Um, is your Cash App on your Twitter? No, it is not, but it's very easy to remember. I'm gonna put it there. Formless. Uh, that's my Cash App right there, Formless LLC. I'll put it in my description. I think it is, but if it's not, that's what it is. But if you want to Cash App me, I will not deny it. Thank you. Ibum Inc. What's up, big homie? Yeah, we gotta talk this week, man. I think our conversation got cut short last time we was talking, but I got a lot of shit that's going on. MF suck. What's that? MF suck. Who suck? Oh, who said the Titans? The motherfuckers suck. Oh no, the Titans are always gonna be a tough team because they run the ball. That's why I said the Titans. So yeah, I mean they might suck, but they will run the football. So they can deal with anybody. Any team that runs the football well can beat you on any given Sunday because they can control the ball if they get some big plays. So I think we can stop the Titans though. They're not great on the outside or at the quarterback position. Lunatic with Dak, and we healthy. We beat all those teams. Yeah, yep, yep. I think we can beat those teams. Dak should run the table, honestly speaking, because we already know that the offense was better with Dak in there. I mean, that's obvious. So if Dak doesn't see what this defense can do and help those guys out, and the coaching staff too, they're going to call plays differently because you can lean on this defense. And what hasn't happened yet, which will happen, that hasn't happened yet, is we will start to be plus in the turnover ratio. And when we start giving Dak and his offense more times at bat, we're going to be almost impossible to beat. Period. All right. All right. He said, I wish Romo had a season with a team like this. Yeah, you and me both. I think we win a Super Bowl. Need to rotate interior of the line better. With who though? We need to change it up, of course, but with who? I like the way Chauncey's playing. I like the way Osa's playing, but they're not big. Tristan too. They're not. They can't deal with double teams. Neither one of those three guys consistently anyway. Um, Osa though did a good job last week. I mean, not Osa. Um, Chauncey did a good job splitting double teams last week. He was very physical, very mean. I think they disrespected him on that drive where um, uh, Fowler went for it or jumped on the fourth down. It was crazy because right before that, Chauncey stopped them for no gain after splitting the double team, and the hole was there. He split it and got there. I'm like, damn, that was a great play by Chauncey, and then we give up that. So yeah, yeah, gotta go, Charlene. Appreciate you coming. I gotta go soon too. I gotta get the rest of this film done. I just wanted to touch y'all. I've been over an hour. I covered everything, but I'm just having a conversation with y'all now. So appreciate having you. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Ed Gonzalez, Dak is running out of excuses going into the seventh season now. He can't be productive against good teams. Then we know extending him was an all-time huge mistake. Y'all want to keep talking about the mistake of paying a guy, and it's not a mistake because you got to pay him to keep him. Period. What else were you going to do? You're going to pay him, and you pay quarterbacks at any other position according to the sliding scale that position warrants. Would you say paying $40 million for Dak was the greatest thing to do. It doesn't look like it today, but in 2 years where people are getting 60 million a year, that 40 million won't look half as bad. And who gives a shit? Because we still are under cap right now with him being a $40 million guy. So don't care about that either. You had to pay him to keep him. You weren't gonna let Dak hit the open market. So and you weren't gonna keep franchising him. So I think after he broke his leg and the way he was playing that season, you can't read the future. And I think he deserved his money. Period. He still deserves his money. Now, play for it is the point. And it's not just playing for the money. It's like now that you've gotten the money, stats are irrelevant. The only stat that matters is W's. So Dak should know that by now. And yes, I think Dak is out of excuses. I would agree on that part because we saw what the coaching staff can do without him. We saw what a lesser quarterback can do without him. We saw what this defense could do without him. So with him, it should be a +1. It shouldn't be a deficit having him here. So that if that's what you mean, yes, yes. But I think he's very aware of that, and hopefully he's as smart as I think he is, and he understands. Turn around, hand the fucking football off, and then pick your shots. And if he does that, you're going to be happy with Dak, just like the Seattle Seahawks were happy with Russell Wilson for all that time. Russell Wilson never became a slice and dice him quarterback. He just was a quarterback that they ran the ball around and he made his shot, took his shots when he needed to. And that's all Dak has to do. Russell Wilson will forever be considered a good quarterback because he won Super Bowls. Okay. So that's all Dak has to do. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to be Mahomes, nor do I think he will ever be. But does that ever matter? That never mattered to me because one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and even when I come at Dak, when y'all try to make Dak the greatest of all time, then I take y'all down a notch or two, not Dak. Dak doesn't have to be the greatest quarterback of all time. One of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game is Dan Marino. Never won a Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about those stats, basically, is my point. I don't give a fuck about that. Give me a guy, give me a Hasselback or a Dilfer over a Marino any day of the week. A Russell Wilson any day of the week because they will win and they can play complementary football to win. So if Dak can do that, which I know he can, I have no problems with his paycheck. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. And you said Dallas has never been able to draft a good QB. They did it once in 30 years. 30 years ago, they drafted Tony Romo's non-drafted, I think, but they got Tony Romo. I think he's a good quarterback. I think that Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. To say Dak isn't good, you got to name me 20 guys that are better. Dak is definitely top 12. 12. I would give him top 12. You might argue top 10, but top 12 for sure. You see what I'm saying? And that still puts you in the good category. He's above average for sure. So I wouldn't put him on the scale of anything being near the bottom of the league. I think that's corny to say. I don't think that's true. Kellen Moore plays calling stinks our last game. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I think his play calling was good. What if you're gonna knock his play calling? Running the ball at Jordan Davis early in the game was what was dumb. We should have ran off the edges early in the game. And then let him tire himself out like they did later in the game. They ran at him or ran comebacks off tackles at him because he was tired and they were able to move him. But early in the game when he's fresh, run away from him to get him chasing you. That's the one thing we didn't do early. That's it. Other than that, I think the play calling was great. I do. They didn't attack outside all day, but when they did, I thought that was pretty weird. We didn't attack the soft spot of the defense. When you got Edwards in the middle of the field, I think if we would have made Edwards choose, like flood Edwards, you don't flood Bradbury or Slay. You don't go at them. You go at CJ, which we did when we scored. You go at Edwards because those guys don't have any help in the middle of the field. Slay and Bradbury don't need any help on the outside. So the mistakes that we made all came from throwing the ball at those guys on the outside early on. I don't know if that was Cooper Rush's decision making or if it was the call that was made. If it was, then you can definitely credit Kellen Moore for that, because I think you should have had a lot more in breaking, shallow, the things that the Eagles were doing against us, some rubs, in breaks, drags, things like that. I think would have did us a lot better in the middle of the field. Defensive big men don't like running off the edges or sideline to sideline. Of course they don't. Yeah, I hated Romo, still do. Then you just don't like people. Donna, what do you like, man? Troy Aikman? Troy Aikman, let's put this to rest, because you said we drafted one good quarterback in the last 30 years, and that was Aikman, right? Okay. Troy Aikman, y'all gonna hate me for saying this. He's gonna get the nod as being better because Troy Aikman is good at he understood how to be the best game manager he needed to be. But talent wise, Troy Aikman is not better than Dak or Romo for that matter, talent wise. But with the team playing the way they play, good defense, running the fuck out of the football and play actioning, he did pretty damn good. Okay. But to say that Troy Aikman was like slice him and dice him guy, no, he was a guy that knew when to hold him, when to fold him, when to run away. You know what I mean? Same thing. So let's stop that shit, man. Let's stop that shit. I ain't got no time to be. I'm not gonna rip down. I don't want to rip down Troy either. I just want to say we are Cowboys fans, bro. So to say that you hated Romo, what do you like then? What do you like? I don't know what you like, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you like. Ah, man, they don't get no respect. Nick Foles had a good team, and it wasn't just him though. We have the talent. I just don't trust in the playoffs, man. Um, I trust us running the ball in the playoffs, but we got to get there first. So let's figure that out. That's my man. I gained more respect for Romo's mind on the mic. Yeah, Romo was very smart. Tony Romo had more passing TDs and less interceptions and less career games than Aikman. Troy had 10 years with 1,000-yard running back. Romo had 2 or 3. There you go. Thanks, Sean, for saying that. People don't get that. What's up, Jawan Ism? What's good? Mahomes already passed him in TD passes. Oh, this is the passing era, so I'm not saying that. Obviously, we'll have more passes, passing touchdowns from everybody now. But I'm talking about just the way they played the game. I'm not talking about the stats. I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about the way they played the game. Like Troy Aikman, he took harder hits. He was a tough motherfucker. He had a number one that was bona fide most of his career, and Michael Irvin. He went down shortly after. Michael Irvin went down because he had very good chemistry with one guy for a long time, and he had a hell of a running attack for most of his career. So the triplets were a real thing. And that offensive line, Eric Williams, we talk about Larry Allen so much that we forget Nate Newton, Stefnoski, Eric Williams, and fucking and Larry Allen played on that offensive line for a while, man. Eric Williams is probably one of the best offensive linemen in history. And he's ahead of, in my opinion, Larry Allen, who is one of the best offensive linemen in history. So, we had that, and we had that, and we understood what we had. We ran the ball, and we got that now. If we run the ball, Tyler Smith is an evil son of a, you know what? And if you run the ball with him, and so is McGovern, so is Zach Martin, and honestly, right now, playing the best on this offensive line, his name is not Tyler Smith. His name is not Zach Martin. The best offensive lineman right now this season has been Still, and Still is a mean asshole. So this team, if we run the ball, has everything we need to be dangerous, man. Yeah, Terrence Still is acting crazy right now. Like he knocked Cox in the next week. He was knocking linebackers out last game. He's been bringing the load or carrying the load every week. If you run to the right, we run to the left more for some reason. But if you run to the right, Terrence Still is caving that whole side. And what I would do is have him keep caving and crashing inside the way he does, and then you pull either Smith off the opposite side or McGovern. McGovern's feet aren't as good. That's probably why they don't do that. We're better pulling to the left than we are to the right because footwork on both. Well, you got Smith who has to go further to get to that outside. So it's hard to pull a left tackle on the right side. It takes longer. And then you got McGovern, who doesn't have the footwork of a Connor Williams. So he's not as fast to get out there either. But when we go in the opposite way, Zach Martin and Still, They pull pretty good going the opposite way. That's probably why we run left more. But I would run to Steele's side all day long. Steele's a beast. Steele's playing for a contract extension this year. Yeah, and he looked like it. And he's playing like it. Yeah, end of the year we can extend him for sure. Is still the biggest surprise in the O line or Smith? I'm not surprised by Steele's play this year. I thought he was better than Collins last year. Everybody argued with me, but now they're like, Steele, like, well, what do you think I was talking about? Steele looked like this last year to me. When you look at the Chargers game, what he did to Bosa, yeah, and now they kept on saying he's getting a lot of help. No, he wasn't. He was just killing people. You know what I mean? AKOYE, you should submit applications to the Cowboys to be a coach. Just show them your film studies. Not kidding. Um, that would be dope, but I think right now I'm in the era of my life where I need to make some money, real money. I don't want to be a coach yet. I'd rather make my money first, and then when I'm old and gray, yeah, I would coach because I would do it for free. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't worry about it right now with what I'm starting up. But what I will tell you, once we're done in Baltimore, starting this home healthcare agency in Baltimore, the next target is the Texas market. So me and my partners are coming to Texas circa 2024. So if we choose Houston, that's close enough. But I would rather be in Dallas, but they want to go to Houston. But either way, I should be back in Texas soon. And if I am, I'm gonna be a happy motherfucker because I feel like not only will Koye take off if I'm in Texas, but Texas is a big business for the home healthcare agency. So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't want to be a coach right now, man. To be honest with you, I want to make some money. Coaches gotta they doing a lot of traveling. They make okay money, but I was making 140 grand a year before I left the corporate world, and I don't want to go back to that. I want to make money. You know what I mean? And then I can sit my ass down and do what I want to do, which would be cool. But next 5 years, I got to get that money on autopilot, man. That's my goal. Um, thank you. He said I might do it for him. If seeing Terrence growing has been amazing. Definitely a guy Cowboys need to sign long term. Of course, man. He deserves everything coming to him, man. All the blessings, all that money. Get it. We got home health every corner here in South Texas. It's money. Yeah, it's the next big one. It's not as saturated because Texas is so big. Just a better market for it, and it's less regulated than it is anywhere else. So we will be coming that way, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know that's right. You can make loot even in a recession. Oh, of course, man. You need your glasses, bro. Hey, man. I was doing good without squinting most of the time. Actually, I was squinting on. I don't know why I was squinting this now. I could see, but yeah, I was doing pretty good until that point. I was. Our RTP flags, yeah or nay? I don't know what you mean. Uh, all the RTP flags, yeah or nay? I don't know what's RTP. Or right tackle penalty. That's what you mean? Maybe. Um, we can fix that. I mean, I think Tyron Smith had some problems with getting off the ball too soon, false starts. Oh, roughing the passer. That's RTP. Yeah, I'm not good with acronyms, but or abbreviations. Um, yeah, I don't like the roughing the passer penalties at all. They don't like the Cowboys very much, and that's the other thing. We've been playing against the refs and still playing pretty damn good. And I think that's like something that we're gonna have to just get used to as fans because it's not gonna stop. It's been going and it's gonna keep going. So I can't be like, yo, you need to stop calling it. They're gonna call it. Any deadline moves that I would make. Only thing I would do on this team. Only thing we need. We can either do it internally or externally. You either go get a linebacker to and trade LV for something, which I don't think he'll do, or go get a linebacker, or bring. He said, "No, you just high. I ain't even high. I don't even smoke right now." Or oh damn, Shaq Thompson from the Carolina would be great. I think him and Cox next to each other is sickening. Him and Cox next to each other with Micah Parsons on the outside. You don't know what the fuck we're doing. I love that. I would love that. But I think if you go get a linebacker, great. If not, you bring Cox up and you pause and you let him play in LV's position. Potential safety? Never. Never. I don't think we need a safety, bro. Just graduated college in 2020 with a public health degree. Throw me some gems to know about the home healthcare industry. I'll throw you a gem right now. This is one guy you can look at that helps pretty good. Got a pretty good guy to listen to. I spelled Jonathan wrong, but maybe I didn't. Jonathan Gooch. Google Jonathan Gooch. Google, what is his name? Tommy Duncan. Both those guys are a wealth of information in the home healthcare space. But you can also hit me up at AKOYE Media on IG. I'll give you my number. You can call me, man. I'll tell you what to do. I will play. I will play LB for the low. What you mean? Oh, you would play linebacker for the low? Yeah, we need a linebacker. What about Elijah Moore? I don't know Elijah Moore. Don't know. Hooker is nice, too nice. He healthy now. Yeah, Hooker too nice. Um, Hooker is too nice. I wouldn't fuck with Hooker. You can't do nothing with Donovan Wilson. And J Rock, although he's been kind of quiet so far, I think once he's in midseason form, we're gonna get the J Rock that we know and love back. So no, nothing to do there. He said LV playing for only 1.5 million can't go lower than that. Yeah, no, you can't, but you can get better. I don't care about the paycheck. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just get him out of here. DT or slot. I mean, we got three good defensive tackles. I think Watkins, when I say good, one text. Watkins, Nev, and Bohanna. I think Bohanna is the key. Bohanna has been banged up this season, but Bohanna is the key because when he's there soaking up blocks, all those other guys have a better rotation. I think it will be a lot better. I'll play for half that. I mean, you got agent nine. You gotta be crazy. You gotta be crazy good. Clown, this is making me thinking Turpin was going to be next Dante Hall or Devin Hester. I don't know who the clown is. Are you talking to me? I don't know. He will be though. But if you calling me a clown, I mean, I like how you talk in Texas, good brother. You wouldn't say that to me, so I love you still, man. Giving out hugs, man. I love you. Thank you. Appreciate it. If that's what you were saying, I don't know. Sometimes things get lost in translation, but I'm not giving you that. Anyway, Jamie and Kyle Bland should be starting. I agree. Slug might as well get Amari Cooper back. I would do that. I would. I don't think that's gonna happen though. Is there a linebacker out there you can go pick up or trade for? Yeah, you got Roquan Smith and Shaq Thompson, which I think would be pretty good. Um, Okoye, would you like to see Joe Witt Jr. as defensive coordinator when Quinn leaves inevitably next season? I hope Quinn doesn't leave next season. Is what I hope. I hope we just pay him crazy money and keep him. But yeah, Joe Witt is a good second. But I think it's not about the knowledge level only. It's about chemistry and do the players learn from you easier and do they want to listen to you? Joe Witt almost got in a boxing match with J Rock, right? Remember that? J Rock about to bust his ass because Joe Witt is a harder hand than Quinn. Quinn is a teacher, with a hard hand. Sort of like me. Like I'm a teacher, but and I know when to talk to you nice and congratulate you and give you some attaboys, and I know when to put my foot in your ass as a coach. I think Joe Witt is like Dick LeBeau. He's just foot in the ass. You know what I'm saying? So that might not translate well with all the players in the locker room. You never know. It's not about knowing the plays. He knows the plays. I think he was calling himself a clown. Oh, I don't know. That's why I said I ain't coming at you because I didn't know what you meant. Because yeah. Uh, he said, yeah, you. Oh, my bad. He said you brutalized that whole thing. I was saying I feel like a clown for thinking Turpin was going to be sensational. I don't think so. I disagree with. That's why I didn't come at you. I said I love you anyway, man. But so I don't think I brutalized it. But I didn't understand. You know what I mean? I don't speak emoji very well, good brother. But I still don't think you're wrong. I think they're just not using Turpin correctly. He is dangerous with the football in his hand. He did give us the spark we needed in that last game. He almost ran one back last game. He got stopped by our own players, and he's made an impact. He will bust some. Oh, pause. He will break some long this season. I think he will, and I think if you incorporate him in the offense, he'll be good. But I don't think that Dante Hall. I called him Dante Hall and Devin Hester myself, so that's why I thought you were talking to me. I still think he is that. I still do. So we definitely wasted 10 million on Schultz. No, you had the franchise to keep him here, so no. He's better than having CD and Pollard back there. I mean, to say he's just better than that is like disrespect too. Like he's way better than that. Yeah. Cover song challenge. Yeah, he makes his impact. Yeah, but my bad, House Nelson. I take that off. I didn't say nothing crazy. Usually, I would butcher that because I would have probably started talking shit. But I don't talk. I'm not so trigger happy no more because, like I said, things get lost in translation, and I've been wrong a lot. You know what I mean? So I was wrong again. My bad, good brother. You young guys like Hendershot and Ferguson, yeah, they good. Turpin on the route tree. Who cares if he know the route tree? Can he run in a straight line? Can Turpin run in a straight line? Yes. Is he fast as fuck? Yes. What do? You give Turpin a little bubble screen here and there. You give him a jet sweep here and there. You give him a quick slant or drag here and there, and let him run after the catch. Just get the ball in his hand while he's moving, and let defenses have to chase him around like we be doing Kadarius Toney, and see what he does to teams. Once you do that, when you run him in a straight line, he's going to have the distraction or the decoy effect that we want from him. Look at what was that kid's name? Junior, what was his name? From Ohio State. Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn Jr. He wasn't a route tree guy. He was a straight line guy with kickoff return capabilities. I think Turpin can do that. Tavon Austin, same thing. So I think he can do that. But yeah, House Nelson, my bad, good brother. D Lunatic Okoye, the wildest boast you heard at Filthy Fans say after beating our backup last week. The wildest boasts that I heard. I don't think they got too crazy with me. Like I said, I was holding my own, so they didn't get too crazy with me. What the wildest boast came before the game. Shout out to Lord Brunson. I'm like, hey man, you reaching with that. I told him, I said, hey, on his show, I said, hey man, skill wise, skills, meaning how many moves do you know and are you aware of? Skills and talent are two different things. Skill wise, he said, Hassan Reddick has more skills than Micah Parsons as far as pass rushing skills. I said, oh yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But talent, no. So if Micah Parsons knew as many rush moves as Hassan Reddick, he would be even better than he is now. But he took that and tried to run to y'all got one, we got one. Meaning y'all got a Parsons and we got Hassan Reddick because he was looking at stats and stats only. I said, man, if you don't get the fuck out of here, man, when you look at the impact of the game, meaning all of the sacks, most of the sacks that you see D-Law with, that you see Fowler with, that you see DA with, and I'm not taking it away from those guys. They still got to get there and make the play, but they're playing against tight ends sometimes, or they got no guys blocking them sometimes. Why? Because you got three guys blocking Parsons. Hassan Reddick ain't getting that kind of attention. That's like saying, because somebody's scoring as much as LeBron, they better than LeBron. You're crazy. You're crazy. No. So yeah, that was the biggest boast I heard was Hassan Reddick is one of one, a 1-to-1 with Micah Parsons. I'm like, you are out of your goddamn mind. But outside of that, no. Yeah, Reddick is good. I would never say Reddick. I like Reddick. Reddick Philly product too. He from Temple, from Camden, right over the bridge. Little hood ninja, back playing at home. Good guy. No problem with him. But to say that he is 1-to-1 with Parsons is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Pippen and Jordan. I live. He said I live in Pittsburgh, and I have to explain football all day, brother. Yeah, you do, because they don't get it. I don't get it, man. They don't get it. Shout out to DeLorean Parms Senior. I like the name, man. DeLorean. D-Lo Ray. That means from low light. You know what that means, right? Yeah, I'll teach you one day. I like your name though. The Joshinator. What's up, man? I don't know how to say your name, but nothing's up, man. I'm chilling. I'm about to get up off here in a second. He said Parsons. We got Hassan Reddick. Yeah, he was tripping with that, man. Hello, kings and queens. Hope all is well. Yes, so gifted production. What's up with you, brother? Yeah, hit the likes if you haven't. I got a good amount of them in there, but I appreciate it. When's the next roundtable? We keep playing around with it. I don't know when the next one is, but we definitely need one because I got some shit to talk. I like to talk shit to my guys, man, because because they are my equals, and I love how they come back at me, man. But I don't know. I'll let you guys know. I'm pretty sure Vach and one of those guys will. Shout out to those guys too. Shout out to everybody else who I didn't mention too. I love the Cowboy community, the way we are tuned in as far as content creators. So shout out to all those guys, man. I know we had some friendly fires in the past. I've been on, as I said to who was it, House Nelson. I done jumped the gun on so many people because I had to separate the character, which is Okoye, from Darius, the man. You know what I mean? I had to separate the two because sometimes I react like Darius, but I'm supposed to just be Okoye and be okay, man. These people don't know you. They talking about Okoye. They're not talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta separate that. But I love all these guys, man. I love what we doing to a man, and that includes everybody. So appreciate y'all. About to get into this film, and it'll be out hopefully tonight. I haven't. I got a lot to do. I might shorten it up just to get stuff out this week, and then get back to it next week when I get back to my regular schedule. But like I said, I had an illness in the family, and I was all hands on deck and driving back and forth to Baltimore all week, so didn't have time. I'm sorry, y'all. But talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. I'm out. Let me see if anybody said anything before I get going. I'm gonna start calling you Darius. You can. That's my goddamn name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's my name. But yeah, go Cowboys, man. Love y'all. We out. Peace.